Hi, I'm Nate with Lancaster Archery, pro shop and range here in Phillipsburg, PA. And is your bow balanced? This is so stupid. No, but in all seriousness, hi, I'm Nate with Lancaster Archery, pro shop and range here in Phillipsburg, PA. And we are in the brand new range. Right now I'm only standing at 20 yards, but we have 45 yards here, 10 lanes. It's beautiful. It is now finally somewhat kind of insulated and warm. So we now have two ranges here at the shop. We have the one down in the basement range, which is the one you've seen before. Don't worry, it's still echoey up here. Business is good, business is solid, zero complaints. We're not going under. Another fiscal year of making it. Working 100 hours a week to make minimum wage or less. Small business entrepreneurship is great. Let's talk about the real reason why I'm here today, which is practicing for the Lancaster Archery Classic and getting geared up for the biggest indoor shoot that I attend in the year. I do not go to Vegas, so Lancaster is the biggest shoot for me. I do attend a whole bunch of local stuff. However, this is the first year that I have now officially said I'm done shooting bow hunter. So if you are unfamiliar with what I usually do, I've shot bow hunter class spots and outdoor pins for IBO 3D in the past. But then this year, I decided it was time to finally grow up and join a big boy class. And so I shot MBO, which in the IBO is the last amateur distance class before you get to the pro level classes, semi-pro and pro. And so it's a max 45, judging the whole thing, long bars, lens, clarifiers, any bow you want. There's no speed limit at MBO, so it's not truly a pure like the pro classes where they do have a speed cap. But even still, it's not easy to judge an IBO course, or any course for that matter, ASA or IBO. And I did very, very well. I took second at one of the national Triple Crown legs and fourth at another one. And that's pretty daggum solid. And so the judging was great. The shooting with an open setup was going great. And so I said, it's time for me to leave the bow hunter setup behind and to shoot long bars indoors. So this is the Elite Exalt LD long draw. This is for us big guys here. I'm traditionally around a 31-inch draw. I have this set on the last quarter-inch mark before the 32 ending. So does that mean it's set to 31 3/4? I don't know. I don't even put my bows on the draw board. I don't put them on a scale. I just make sure they feel good, they shoot good, and they're grouping well down range. So yesterday I was able to put my first 300 together, 300 with 25X. Open class cutoff scores are significantly more difficult than the bow hunters. Although last year at Lancaster, my bow hunter score would have put me in the open cutoff, but I doubt I'll be able to replicate that again. So I'm shooting the brand new Exalt LD. As far as I know, not very many dealers have any around the country, so this is still the preview package bow that I got as a dealer. So the one that I wanted, which is the flat black, which has the texture to it, I don't have yet. So I'm just shooting this one. I'm probably gonna rock it. I've got the Hamskea Trinity on here with a Epsilon launcher blade cut down, so that way I don't get fletching contact, because I'm shooting 4 fletch high profile Q2I vanes on an Ultra 27. I'm very excited to try these arrows out. I'm traditionally a gold tip triple X guy. Shot a pile of good scores with the gold tip triple X, but the Ultra 27s have been doing all right. We'll talk more about those while I'm shooting. I've got a CB Torx 15 off the back with 15 ounces of weight. I've got a Bee Stinger out front, 30 inches with 5 ounces of weight. It was many moons ago, I saw an old video by David Hauser, one of the it was a pro shooter for Hoyt. I still think David still shoots for Hoyt. Great shot. But he's also the antithesis of who I am. I'm 6'4", Dave's like 5 and change. But God love him, he gave me a tip in that video, or gave everybody a tip in that video, which was a ratio of 1 to 3. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of that. 1 ounce on the front for every 3 ounces on the back, and vice versa. So I've kind of stuck to that my entire shooting career. So I got 5 out the front, 15 out the back, and it is holding like an absolute rock. I mean, I'm very happy with how this bow has been performing. With a bow hunter setup, I've often run V-bars. Because bow hunters, you're constricted to 12 inches and shorter. That's not just the bar, that's like the whole length. So that includes a quick disconnect, all the weights and everything. So 12 inches and short's pretty daggum small, and you can't pack a whole lot of weight onto those. So at Lancaster, there's no restriction on the back bar. So I would run, a 12 out the front and then like 2 8s out the back, and I would stack them full of weight as possible to get that bow to sit more still. But since I'm running such long bars, 15 out the back, 30 out the front, and then I'm able to pack on as much weight as I'm legally can hold up, I'm not running near that same V-bar setup, because the one bar is what I shot for MBO and IBO, and the one bar here for indoor is what I'm shooting, and it feels absolutely fantastic. Shooting the B3 Exact 3D sight bar, that's a mouthful, with an ETAC light. They make the Target version, which has a really long bar. I don't need that. It seems to work out just fine with the short 6-inch bar. This is the exact same setup I shot for IBO for the MBO class. ETAC light, Viper, the 1.75-inch housing goes right on there, 10x32 rod, everything's great. I am running it with the light kit, obviously from Viper, that can accept the ETAC. I'm running a 15 thousandths pin, which is actually looking really, really good. I'm really enjoying the 15 thousandths. I enjoyed it last year outside. I'm really enjoying it here inside as a 15 thousandths. A lot of people run dots, but my eyes just suck. My eyes cannot do dots. So a pin is the way to go for me. And I'm running a 6X lens. Now, here's the thing where people start to worry about open setup, is the lenses and the clarifiers. So there's two things, verifiers and clarifiers. Verifiers are only in the peep to clear up the pins. There's no glass up here, only glass back here. Verifiers, and I apologize to all the Gen Zs and boomers out there, but they're for the old men, right? They're for the guys who literally cannot see. Now also, I am also an old man. My astigmatism in my right eye is pretty bad. So you take my glasses off and my pin literally looks like a sun flare. It's awful. Now I can get away with hunting distances, normal lighting conditions, but when it comes to trying to hit scoring rings and the money's on the line, that's a different situation. So I do shoot with my glasses on. But a verifier is only there to clear up the pins. And because of that, it makes your eye and it makes your brain bring the pin into focus, which means you can't focus on the target as easily. It's called racking focus. So if you're going to shoot a bow hunter setup, you can run a verifier because there's no magnification up here, just to clear up the lens, makes the target go blurry downrange. No problem with that if you're okay with your target being a little blurry. A clarifier, which is what goes in here, this is a Hamskea Insight peep, clears up this lens, which means that the target downrange is brought closer to you, right, because of the magnification of the lens. This is a 6X lens, and based on your draw length and the strength of your lens and so on and so forth, you pick the right clarifier to clear up the target downrange. Now, my brain does, like I said earlier, if my pin is not in focus, like my brain is not looking at the pin just turns into a sun flare. Just absolutely disappears. And it looks miserable for me downrange. Now, with a 3D target, I can get away with that because I really need to see scoring rings or see shoulder muscle definitions. I cannot, in a 3D situation, have a blurry target. Here in spots though, it's significantly different because it's just colored circles, it's all 20 yards, it's the same thing, lighting's the same, it's all indoors, no wind, etc. So outside, I deliberately put in a clarifier, so I run a 6X lens with a C clarifier with my glasses, and that allows me to see the target crystal clear, and my pin just kind of turns into a little puffy cloud of green, okay? And I use my ETAC light to make it, you know, more or less obvious on the target, okay? So it about doubles in size. So on a 45-yard target, it's about the size of an 11 ring on a standard sight target. So it's about 2.5 to 3 inches. So that's pretty significant. On a 50-yard target, it'll cover the entire 10 ring, which is okay, because I'm not trying to inside out at 50 yards. I'm just trying to get it in the ballpark, par for the course, don't hurt yourself. Whereas indoors though, I really need to hit that thing the size of American penny, which is the X on the inside, particularly at Lancaster, where X is counted as 11. It's not just a tiebreaker. So when I'm here on indoors, I really need this pin to come into focus, but this target is so daggum close at 20 yards with a 6X lens. Any clarifier in here was clearing up too much of the target, and my pin was going out of focus, and my pin was too big, and I wasn't getting consistency. So I am running a 6X lens with zero clarifier, nothing. So it's almost like looking through the bottom end of a Coke bottle downrange with the 6X lens in there, but I can see the color definitions of where the yellow stops and the red begins, the red stops and the blue begins, and so I know if I just put it in the middle of all of it, I'm I'm gonna hit the center of the target. I started doing that a couple of weeks ago, worked out really well, and I've shot some very high scores, some high 299s, high X counts. Yesterday, 325X, which right now on 325 is the highest I've shot so far. But that seems to be working really well. So if you are struggling with racking focus on pin or target or vice versa, give that a shot, give that a try, and see if you can literally just take your clarifier out, let the target go completely blurry, get it fuzzy, and then just have your brain focus on the pin and just put the pin in the center of the colors. Would not recommend it for 3D at all. I got to be able to see the things I need to see in order to hit scoring rings, but for indoor spots, it is what it is. So let's talk about the arrow very, very briefly. This is an Ultra 27. Ultra's new to the market, part of the outdoor group, so they're in cahoots with Scott and CBE and Elite and Slick Trick and all that sort of stuff. They've come out with 25, 27s, and 23s for target. I got a little bit of all of them, being a TOG dealer, and of course I shoot for Elite, so it's interesting to always try out the products that are the sister companies to the brands that I already shoot. So this is the 27. This is in the limited series. There's a limited and a premier, 3000s and a 1000 straightness respectively. However, according to TOG, and I have not actually weighed them, they're all plus or minus 1 grain, which is pretty solid. That's a pretty good straightness, or excuse me, weight sorting. Also a 3000 straightness arrow for most people. If you can chop off a couple inches both either end, you actually get a 1000 straightness arrow. It's a little cheat to help you save a few bucks. However, I have a 31 or 31 3/4 inch draw length, whatever I have this set to right now, and it is basically meaning I'm running a full length shaft. So this is a 31 inch carbon to carbon arrow. I'm running the standard nock. I love gold tip GT nocks. That's what I'm running here. So I'm running a standard nock bushing and 150 grain point. Then I'm running a 4-fletch. I ran 4-fletch tack vanes last year, the 2 1/4. These are the 2 1/4 Q2I vanes. So these are the lower profile, the Raptor cut. I'm digging the silver, black, and white look for me this year. Last year I did kind of a blue and green look, and they seem to be performing very well. They're tuning fine. I'm getting a slight knock high left tear, which is working out just fine. Like, I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. They've been grouping great. It's hard to get a 200 spine arrow to group any better than, or to tune out any better than it really is what expected already. So I've just been sighting them in, letting them fly. And that looks to be an X. Yeah, that's an X down there. That target's pretty chewed up. But I've been shooting really well. Been shooting a Scott Apex and a release I'm not allowed to talk about. The past several months, shot this in 3D, and the release I'm not allowed to talk about. And they've been doing very, very well. It's from Hot Shot. And so I'm very excited to continue to shoot both of those. And when I'm legally allowed to put out the other one on the tournament trail, I will be doing that as well. Woo, that's left. But anyway, that's all for this video and my long-winded rambling and ranting on what it's like shooting open this year. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully give you a few more tips and tricks along the way of what to do with an open setup. I feel very out of touch doing videos. I haven't done a video in like 3 months, or at least 2. I don't think it's been since deer season pretty much. So I'm hoping you're enjoying the sport of archery. I'm finally getting back into it. I'm gonna put a 300 round together here before I open the shop at 4 o'clock and see what I can score today. Hope you're able to get outside yourself or inside and enjoy the sport of archery, archery hunting, target archery, if you so choose. Definitely enjoy God's beautiful creation, and we'll get to see you next time. This video is stupid.